When you think of Bill Laimbeer, you usually think of this. This. Or even this. When you hear that name, Bill Laimbeer, usually think of that gritty center on the bad boy Pistons that would randomly nail guys out of nowhere and start fights with other star players. But I bet you didn't know that Bill was capable of doing this. This. And more of this. The crazy thing is, all of those clips are from the same game. What's up guys, Julian here, and today we are talking about the man himself, Bill Laimbeer, and why he was truly ahead of his time. On May 19th, 1957, William Laimbeer Jr., or Bill, was born to William Laimbeer Sr. and Mary Laimbeer. Bill played college ball for the University of Notre Dame, where he averaged 7.4 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 1 assist per game. These numbers aren't spectacular, but they were good enough to get drafted in the third round. Yes, the third round, by the Cleveland Cavaliers with the 65th overall pick. Bill had a decent rookie year, averaging 9.8 points, 8.6 rebounds, and 2.7 assists as a starting center for the Cavs. In his sophomore season, his numbers took a huge dip, only averaging 6.7 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 0.9 assists per game. The reason for this is because his starting spot was taken away by James Edwards. Later that year, he was traded to the Pistons along with teammate Kenny Carr for Phil Hubbard, Paul Moeski, and a first and second round pick. As soon as he was traded, his numbers skyrocketed, and he averaged 12.8 points, 11.3 rebounds, and 1.8 assists per game for the remainder of the season. Bill would go on to be a 4-time All-Star and a 2-time champ, but we aren't here to talk about his career accomplishments. We are here to talk about the part of his game that makes him truly ahead of his time. Bill Laimbeer was possibly the greatest shooting center of his generation, averaging 33% on 0.6 attempts per game. These numbers are far from spectacular, but when we look at the context of some of these numbers, it might be more surprising. From 1980 to 1994, the average 3 points per game by a team was 5.1 attempts per game. So the 3-point shot wasn't necessarily a shot used by big men, but in some of Bill's best shooting seasons, he would contribute a large majority of his team's 3-pointers. Let's take a look at the 1989-90 season, where Bill averaged 36% on 2 attempts per game for the Detroit Pistons, who would shoot 6.6 threes per game, making Bill responsible for 30% of the team's total 3-point attempts. He would also shoot slightly above the team average, which was 35%. Bill would be in the Pistons' top 3 in 3-pointers made from the 1986 to 1992 seasons, and even led the team in the 1989-90 season and the 1990-91 season, which is insane to think about considering he's the only center that has ever led his team in threes made. If you compare him to other centers who played until the 1994 season, Bill's last season, he destroys all centers in threes. If you take the next 12 centers on the list combined, their threes made still doesn't match Bill's 202 career 3-pointers made. These players are Alexander Volkov, Vlade Divac, Manute Bol, David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Dave Corzine, Steven Stefanovic, Blair Rasmussen, Joe Klein, Kent Benson, William Bedford, and Mike Gamelski. This goes to show how truly ahead of his time Bill Laimbeer was. Even if you were to compare him to all the centers in the NBA, Bill is still third all-time in 3-pointers made, only trailing Brook Lopez and Marc Gasol, who are 2 terrific 3-point shooting centers in their own right. After Bill's NBA career, he went on and coached the WNBA's Detroit Shock, where he won 3 championships with, and the New York Liberty, and is now the coach of the Las Vegas Aces. He was also the assistant coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves for 2 years. It's crazy to think of how effective Bill would have been in today's NBA, where he'd be able to invest more time in his shot and take more threes per game, but also be a beast on the boards and an intimidating defensive presence. Hopefully one day he can be recognized for his basketball and coaching talent and be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Anyway guys, that is the end of the video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and tune into my channel for more basketball content.